And the last video I did for you, well, we were showing that Ocho got swamped, and I actually haven't cleaned off much of the underneath yet. You can see some of the dirt down here, sticks, things like that. It didn't get too dirty. I got submerged in a little bit of trans fluid here coming out. Yep. You can see up here the AC that's installed. This is just gets totally covered in mud. It's not too functional. That's why I took the compressor out. Probably going to take the rest of the stuff out. The AC lines on this car are very interesting. Look at this. This is them. They go through the tunnel. And what's even more fascinating is this gap right here. That's to the inside of the car. You can see that when you're inside. So yeah, the AC lines, you can see they go right there in the tunnel. So notice we don't have anybody on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give everybody some time to pop in. And we're going to foam holder here. So take a look right there, that stud. So last year when I was working on this car, I pulled the rocker arms off and went to torque the heads, and I saw this, you know. You can't really see that stud where the rocker arms are in. So when I pulled these off, I saw that stud, and immediately I was concerned because that should not be sticking out that far. This right next to it is about how it should be. This one is way too low, but let me show you guys here. So if you can see, try to get the light up in there. This one here has some type of it doesn't look like a traditional case saver. I don't know what it is in there. That's unusual. And originally I couldn't see this one with a real long stud. And then I was able to get up here and here. Can't get the light. You guys can see. Anyways, the case saver has backed out of the case. So when I tried to tighten it before, I was going real easy with it, and I was tightening it, and well, first of all, this was finger loose. So I was tightening it and I heard a pop, and I said, uh-oh, that's not good. So what it is, I put some blue Loctite on it, and I just, you know, tightened it down as easy as I could and just rolled with it. So I've been driving this for about a year like that. I was getting ready to work on the 63 and I figured I would just pull this off and see what it looks like. Now I'm planning on pulling the engine out of this car, but this was gonna be next up on the block, but I decided my 63 really deserves to get the attention first. This one's running and driving, it's okay as it is, but the 63 needs to come off the road. I need to put the new transmission in it, so that's what I'm going to be doing. So this one I just wanted to kind of double check it, make sure it's, you know, semi-roadworthy. Anyways, I pulled this off. This hadn't changed at all. It was still loose, but I could tell the heads need to be retorqued. So I went and I retorqued everything. And then this one, I just tightened down and put some Loctite on it again. So when I pull the engine out of here, pull the heads off, I'm going to see if that stud is really damaged or not. Hopefully the block's not damaged. So it's very interesting. I never noticed this before because I haven't had the car up on the lift. Last time I worked on this, I was in the driveway, you know, just like with a regular light. But I can see here that someone has painted the engine, or like there's overspray all over this. You can see the springs, the metallic paint on it. Why? I don't know. This car's from Mexico. Who knows what's going on? You know, what they did. I don't know. I mean, you can see here with the exhaust. They've welded it on here. This is where the normal end of the exhaust would be. It's been welded on. It's like a slip fitting here. It's been welded here. So this is going to be interesting when I take this off. It doesn't have heater boxes on it. So I just wanted to show you guys what's going on with this. Now this is a hydraulic valve car, so we don't need to adjust the valves. They're set at 0. And just to show you in here, I cleaned it all off yesterday, as much as I could, just to kind of take a look at what's going on in here. We do have some oil leaks. This side, we've got a leak right from that stud in the block. Now you can see, looks like the case saver maybe pulled out a little bit. I'm not sure. I won't know until I get it apart and check everything. But yeah, we've got that leak, we've got this leak. We've got a bunch of leaks that developed in here. So you can see at one time, this car was a severe lowrider and broke the case off there, broke the case off there. And you can see in here the air conditioning that was in the car. I pulled the compressor off, but I did not remove this fan and the lines yet. But as you can tell, the off-road driving just cakes this with dirt, so it's not going to be very effective. And because they installed that in there, they relocated everything with the fuel system and the charcoal canister. Yeah. But this is it. I did a video showing being stuck in the mud, and I have not cleaned it off. That is the water line. I had about 3 inches of water in the car. This is the stop sign, 2 stop signs I have for a skid plate. I noticed here that the boot on the ball joint is torn. These boots were real, like non-pliable. I was worried about them at first, and sure enough, here this one's broken. So I have to order some new boots. This side, they look okay. But, you know, we're getting constant exposure to the water, things like that. So we're gonna get dirt, sand in there. That's not gonna wear well. Yeah, in case you're new to the channel, if you've not followed me before, seen the videos, this is a 97 Mexican Beetle. So yes, they did build the original air-cooled Beetles until 2003, July of 2003 in Mexico. Their title is 2004s. And they still ran swing axle transmissions. That's why the wheels are hanging like this. And Mexicans do have this air filter, or oil filter, sorry, on them. But just wanted to give you guys an update on this. I've retorqued this head. I've tightened that loose stud down as best as I can. And we're gonna roll with it just like we've been doing for the past year. And then after I finish, get Herbie on the lift and get the engine transmission done, and I'll get back on this one here. I've also got the 75 over there I gotta get running too, so we'll see how it goes. This one may be pushed to last as long as it's still running. We've got low compression in one cylinder, but still running and driving. We're gonna go for it and see how it is. You guys that are watching, you got any questions about the car or what I'm doing? So I got the valve cover here. You guys gotta excuse me, I'm starting to get sick this morning, so my voice is a little funky. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this weather strip adhesive on the valve cover. This is just gonna keep the cork in place. This is not coming out like it's an older tube that I have here. Now, a lot of these valve cover gaskets do not fit well in here. This is the only reason why I put that sealant on, is to hold it in place like this. Because if you don't, what's gonna happen, it'll lift up, and then when you clamp it on, you're gonna have a leak. So it just put a little bit of adhesive on there just to hold it in place. So these are the rocker arms. See, they're painted because I guess that's to tell if anybody's messed with the adjusters. Now, take a look at this, you can see the adjusters are severely worn. Yeah, severely worn. These all need to be replaced. Engine in likelihood is definitely in need of a rebuild. So when you're putting them on, you want to make sure that you get all your push rods in place here, that they spin right. You know, you don't have them squished or anything like that. And then push this into place. We've got our washers. And our nuts. All right. These are 13 millimeter. And the VW manual says the torque on between 14 and 18. It's kind of a random number. So we're gonna do 16 on here. All right. Again, we're gonna just check, make sure everything is seated all right. There we go. So this side ready to go. We're gonna move to the next side. See everybody saying hi. How's everybody today? This light is not going to be good to get in the way here. It's kind of awkward to have the camera in the way of where you're working. All right. Now, when you pull this off, some oil is probably going to come out, if it'll come off. just go like this, catch any drips. Not bad. Yeah, what you can do is you can look inside your valve cover too, and see if you see any strange things, pieces of metal. Yeah, look pretty clean in there. You can see this gasket. This side's on a lot stronger than the other side. I'm gonna have to take a razor blade to get this off. So you actually want to torque your heads every once in a while because they're going to come loose. And I can explain to you the sound. You're going to hear, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's a definitely noticeable sound when the heads are loose. And I really don't need to even be doing this because I'm going to be pulling the engine out, but I don't know how long the situation is going to take with Herbie getting that engine and transmission in here. So I just figured, I put it up on the lift and I check it out and see what's going on with it. The other side was definitely loose. So and of course I wanted to check out that stud problem. You guys hear that noise? That's my metal building creaking in the sun when it starts warming up. Can't get this washer off with these gloves. There we go. Yeah, what I recommend doing too is you can look at your push rods, see if there's any cracks in here, any really bizarre wear. Of course, you can take them completely out, but I'm not doing that right now. Just looking to see if there's any odd wear on here. Now you got to make sure that these are seated all the way in. You don't want any problems. So now you take a look at this head. What do we have here? Oh, wow. Look at this. Holy cow. Can you guys see that? Let me get the mini light on here. Wow. Try to get the camera so you guys can see. Hold on. Look at this. This is backed off. It's falling off. That one's good. Wow, this was a problem waiting to happen. If this backed off, this nut could just fall right in. So that would explain the oil leakage. May be pulled out, so we'll see what happens when we go to torque these. There's that metallic paint again inside the engine. I'm gonna guess whoever built this or worked on it just didn't really care too much about keeping it clean, and they spray painted in here. Then again, it may have been just somebody doing a quick, just wanted to make it look good and sell it. But who knows? I have no idea how many miles or kilometers are on this engine. But it is low on compression in one cylinder. So I can see the seals there bad. Well, we're gonna go ahead and torque it down. So the Volkswagen service manual shows on these 8mm studs, which are the smaller, that these need to be torqued at 18 foot-pounds. So set our torque wrench. Find my socket. Okay, so torque them. I had to double check the book because sometimes I forget. So the 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's torque. This one is really loose. Oh, this looks like it's pulling the stud. So I'm gonna leave that right there. Not gonna go any tighter. So we got 2 studs that are a problem on this car now. Yeah. That's not good. So, I don't know if you guys can see. Try to get you in here. Okay, yeah. So when I was tightening it down, if you can see that shininess, there's oil there that's coming out of that paste saver. So that was like moving. So if I continue torquing that down, it may pull that out of the block, and then we're gonna be in real trouble. So I just stopped. We'll worry about that when we pull the engine out. The kind of things you find when you're working on a Volkswagen. Hey, by the way, happy Valentine's Day to everyone. So, same thing with this one. These are quite worn, need to be replaced. Dirt. Now, generally you can tell a lot when you pull the valve cover off looking at a VW engine. See if it was, if it's been taken care of or not. If you pull the valve cover off and you see that it is like severely dirty in here, you'll know that it wasn't taken care of. But if you've got an engine that's been maintained, you can pull the cover off and it would look really nice. And still may not be a good engine per se. Huh. Check that out, guys. That's got a Healy coil in the nut. I've never seen that before. Why would you not just replace the nut? That's really odd. A lot of work to put a Healy coil in that. I don't think I seated this right, so let me double check it. Ah. I sent the nut in the washer flying across the floor. Now, the VW manual says this should be 23 pounds. So let's give it a shot. I'm sorry. It was, this is the one we did at 16 pounds. Scratch that. I'm always very leery when I tighten these and the stud's pulling out. Because of past experience. All right, that's done. Now, I told you guys that I'm gonna have to spend some time here pulling this cover gasket off, because this thing is pretty badly on here, so just bear with me. Yeah, so depending on how much gasket material you put on here in the past, you may have to cut it out with a razor blade, which is what I'm doing with this one. see, we got one person watching, so the one person that's watching, you got plans for today? You doing anything special? My wife and I are going to take her car out for a spin after I'm done with this. Yeah. I can't show you what I'm doing here because I gotta have this near me in order to cut all this out. Let's show you. And not cut my hand with the razor blade. I opened the shop this morning and the cat ran out. I don't know where she is. She usually stays around. All right, I think I got this clean. Gotta make sure you get all the old gasket off of here because then that can form a gap and you'd leak oil. Gonna clean this with some carburetor cleaner. Still got a little bit more to clean. Come to think about it, I remember when I put the gaskets on these, that one side had a lot of gaps and I had to put a lot of the sealant on it to keep it in place. Like I said, it's all basically hit or miss. You never know what you're going to get with these gaskets. You may get a gasket that's formed nice, like this one. It's nice, but still gonna put a little bit of material on that. All right, got that here. This one, because it's in good shape, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on. Wipe off the excess. All right, and we're done. That's all I plan on doing on this thing, is just checking the torque of the heads since I had it up, trying to investigate where that oil leak was coming from, and we have done that. So we are all done with Ocho. I'm gonna put him down, and I'm gonna get Herbie moved in the spot. Well, actually, I gotta vacuum all this up first, and I'll be on to some new adventures. But you guys have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your Valentine's, and if you don't have a Valentine's Day, or don't have a Valentine's for today, someone that you love and care about in a relationship, just remember that you can share love with anybody, and just do one thing to brighten somebody's day. Make their day great.